Hello and welcome to yet another live session. In this video, we are going to discuss everything you need to know about DRHP. What is DRHP? It is an IPO prospectus. So whenever a new company is getting listed, they basically put out this document and we will go deep dive into this. And I'll tell you some of the shortcuts which will help you to navigate this very fast, because this is like a boring subject for a lot of you. How many of you feel that reading a DRHP is very boring, or you have not read it? Just type NR, not read, in the comment box. And today I'll tell you what all things are very important in this particular DRHP, how to read it, what to look about it, and it will be super simple for all of you, right? So this is what we are going to cover today. What is IPO, right? What is IPO? If somebody don't know what is IPO, we'll cover that. Why does a company go for IPO? See, IPO is a process when a company wants to raise capital and they give the share in the market. That is where the IPO process happens. That is where company go for IPO. Now, when does a company file a prospectus and where it is filed? We'll learn about this. And we'll also go deeper into what are different sections in any DRHP and what all you should be focusing in those sections. So if you are ready for this, just type ready in the comment box. Awesome. So first, let me introduce what is IPO for people who don't know it. IPO is basically, something where a company is going for public offering. It is called initial public offering. When the company goes first time to the public and gives its shares to the public in return to some money, that is a simple process of IPO. Now, since the company is going public for the first time, of course, it needs to give so much of information to the public so that investor can take an informed decision. And that is where this prospectus, which is also called as DRHP, some people called as IPO prospectus, that comes into the play. Now, DRHP, the full form is very simple. It is called Draft Red Herring Prospectus. Okay, there is a fish called red herring fish from which it is derived, but it is not important. So there are two kinds of prospectus. One is draft, which is called DRHP, Draft Red Herring Prospectus, and another is RHP, which is called Red Herring Prospectus. Now, the difference between both is, as usual, draft is draft and Red Herring Prospectus is final. But most of the times, by the time you look at it, you will only have access to DRHP, because RHP comes just 2-3 days before the regular IPO. Okay, so that is what that is what we are going to dissect in this particular video, and we'll go into different sections like what exactly you should be looking into this IPO prospectus and why it is important. Because a lot of people, when they are investing into IPO, they don't even look at these prospectus where so much of information is given. And that is where, we have seen instances like Paytm and Nazara and all those things where investors get fooled and they don't know about it. They put money just by what broker is saying, and then they lose a lot of money. So if you don't want to lose money, you want to understand where you are getting into, and in a very shortest possible time, this is the video for you. Yeah, so let's dive deeper into this IPO prospectus myth. Okay, so let's go into this and let's understand the 7 sections which are there in the prospectus which you should be looking at. Okay, so the first section you should be looking at is the general information. It will give you information about what is IPO, why they are doing, what is the business model of the company, what is the product they are offering, and who is managing their IPO. Because there will be BRLMs, which is called book running lead managers. Again, nothing to get complicated about. IPO is basically a bidding process, so that is why they call it book running, and lead manager is the manager of that IPO, right? So don't get confused. It's like very simple, just jargons which you need to just be cognizant about. Okay, so let's see a actual DRHP of LIC. Okay, this is like the actual DRHP of LIC, and if you see, you will say, Vivek, there are more than 600 pages. Literally, it is impossible for any investor to digest this kind of information. How many of you agree with this? Just type agree in the comment box. Yeah, it is literally impossible, as you might have wondered, to digest this information. And that is where whatever section I'm telling you, you need to focus on only those sections to get most of this entire prospectus. Okay, so that is what we are going to dissect in this particular part. So the first thing which you need to see is general information. You need to see what are the basics of the company, what they are doing, what is the overall product and all those things. Okay, so first of all, when you scroll through the first page, it will give you the name of the company, who are all the lead managers. So if you see LIC IPO, let me just zoom out a bit so that you can see it clearly. If you see LIC IPO, there are so many lead managers, and this is what happens generally with companies like Coal India and LIC. Any big bank IPO which is there, all the banks who are having this book running lead managers, they want to participate inside it. Okay, and that is where sometimes these big ticket IPOs get sold like anything, and there is a lot of hue and cry that happens afterwards. Now then it gives you the address of all these book running lead managers. It will give you the names of the registrars, like K Fintech is the registrar and all this. And then the most important part is the table of contents. This is where you can briefly understand what all things are there inside this prospectus. So immediately, as soon as you go into this document, you can go into summary of the offer document. And summary of the offer document is very, very simple to understand and brief information about everything that is there. So at least the bare minimum all of you should be doing is read the summary, right? It will say what is the business of the company. That LIC has been there for more than 65 years. This is what is the market share. This is the business. Last 1 or 2 years they did this. What is the industry in which it is operating, right? So it will go about telling the industry also. It will tell you the offer size. What is the number of shares they are offering? Okay. What is the object of the offer? Why they are doing it? And this is very, very important to understand. Whether they are doing it for the growth or they are just selling out the share of the promoter. So if you see in the case of LIC, they are just selling the shares of Government of India. Okay, so they are not even using that money for their future growth. So this is like a red flag. Okay, I generally don't like, it is again my personal view, but I generally don't like companies which are not using the money of IPO proceeds for their growth. So if they are just selling out their past investor, that is not very, very good in terms of future growth of the company. Okay, so this is the very important point. You can note it down. Now you will see the summary of the financial information and what to see here. Here you can at least know about the approximate growth. So if you see the profit after tax in 2019, it was somewhere around 26,000 million. This is in million. So, you can convert into crores by reducing one digit. Then 27,000, then 29,000. So if you see the profits are barely, growing not more than 10% also. So this is again, not a great growth company. So that is one thing you can note down. Now, next thing, if you see in the prospectus is something called as industry data. Okay. And that is where you can understand what the entire life insurance industry itself is doing. Okay. So that is where you go to a section called industry overview. It will tell you, what is the GDP growth of the major economy, what are different, ranks in terms of insurance penetration. It will say what are the key growth drivers of this entire industry. Okay, so you can say, okay, the demography of India is favorable. That is where, the population growth is there, and we have population which is young population. So a lot of people will do insurance. Then the consumption expenditure per capita is improving. You can see the GDP growth is there. So country is getting more prosperous. We have rising middle star population. So that is also a driver. So this way you can understand a lot of growth drivers of a particular industry. How many of you didn't know this? Just type DN in the comment box, because this is again a shortcut. If you want to understand any particular industry, like say for example, you want to do deep dive into life insurance companies, you can actually just pick up 1 or 2 life insurance companies DRHP and then actually do your sector analysis. You don't need to like buy fancy broker reports and do your sector analysis. How many of you found this good tip? Just type GT in the comment box. Okay. And when I do my hackathon, like I have an investment community where I nurture my community members, and we do something called as hackathon. And in the sector analysis, actually I tell people first to, look at DRHP, because by regulation, the lead managers are supposed to provide maximum possible information which is there around the company. So they cannot miss out the key important data points, and that is where this document is very, very exhaustive. So if you want to do sector analysis, this is the place to go and start your sector analysis research. Yeah, so this is what you can keep it in mind. So industry data is very, very important and you should focus into it. Now let's come to the third part. What is the third part? And even industry data, what all you should look for, I'll just give you the pointers. Okay, so you can go through it later. I'm not going too deeper into it. You can, of course, after this, go through the document, and if you have any issues or you're not getting confused or not understanding any point, you can just write in the comment section. But if you see industry points, you should consider what are the strength of the industry, what are the risk factor in the industry. Like there is entire section where they will tell you what are the risk in this entire industry. Okay, then what is the barriers to entry? Like, is it easy to open up an insurance company or it is too difficult? Is it easy to exit the sector or it is too difficult? What is the competition? How many number of players are there? What is the growth of the industry? And what are the new developments that is happening, right? So all these things you should note in your industry data analysis. So I'll fold this note and I'll show you some of the sections which I've highlighted. Okay, so key regulations, there is this entire page where they will say what is the history of regulation in the Indian insurance industry. Just one page you can get the entire idea. Then if you want to see what are different other players doing, you can also see in this particular analysis. Now I want to highlight a very important point, particularly if you are thinking about LIC IPO, because that will be coming in future, is what was the biggest strength of LIC? Their insurance agents, right? They had so many insurance agents on the ground, and that was a very fast, vast distribution which they had. Now, if you think about it, now the world is moving towards fintech, right? All of us are using apps, and the internet penetration is going up, the internet speed is going up. So generally, now the customers are not engaging directly with the agents and they are doing directly. And if you see this table, it says that new business premium by distribution channels of the industry. And if you see, the agents and brokers is steadily declining, and other web aggregators and all those things are improving. Okay, and particularly in the individual segment. So if you see individual, it was 68.3%. which has gone down to 58.2%. And if you see other channels, they are actually increasing. Okay, so this is what is a very important point, that the strength area of LIC is actually eroding. One more data point which I'll tell you, which is very, very important for you to take decision whether you need to go for the IPO or not. Now the private players are taking away market share from LIC. So if you see group insurance, the new business premium in the group insurance segment, private players earlier had 19% market share and now they have 23% market share. So basically, in the group insurance, LIC is not performing that well and it is losing market share. And if you see this data point, it is very, very important, right? Individual new business premium, like new policies and new premium which they are generating from individuals. From 44%, the market share of private players have gone up to 56%. So within like 4-5 years, they've got like 8% incremental market share. And this trend is going to continue in future also. So how many of you found this useful data point? And this is just the demo of, how you should be doing industry analysis and how you should connect the data. Okay, so any other company you see, just see whether they are getting the market share, what they are doing. I've also explained in my annual report, video which was there, how to do that 4-cylinder model also. Okay, so that is where you should use the industry data. The next point you should focus is the company data. Now, once you understand the industry, once you understand the overview of what they are doing, why they are doing this IPO, then you understand more about the company, and that is where it is important to know the financials and how they are doing, what are the numbers, and slightly going deeper into it. Okay, so when the company comes new, it is very important to look at IPO prospectus. If it is all old company, you can directly go to screener and you can read about annual report and all those things. So I've created 2 videos if you want to do normal company analysis apart from IPO. So one video I covered just some time back, which is how to read annual report to invest in stocks. And there is one more video which I've created on my channel, which is called fundamental analysis of stocks using stock screener. And I also given a screener link also, like if you want to download that screener template, you can also download it. Okay, so once you go through the IPO process and then once the company becomes older, this is what will be very useful to you. Now let's come back to the main company overview in the DRHP. Okay, so let's understand this. And by the way, if you are finding it useful, just put a thumbs up. Like Shailendra is saying, mind-blowing data. Thank you so much, Shailendra, and glad that you are liking it. And if you are liking it, just hit a thumbs up and let me know so that I can understand whether you are following it or not. If you are getting stuck, I can even go slow, but hope it is very, very clear so far, because I don't want to rush through, because this is a very, very important topic. At the same time, I want to cover only topics which are very important for you to see, and you can do it much efficiently. Okay, so let's go back to our DRHP and let's understand some more important pieces. So when you want to learn about the company, there is a section called Our Business. So when you go to table of contents, there is this Our Business, about the corporation section, and for each company you will find it. And then you go to the business and then understand what they are doing. They will give the overview that we have been more than 65 years old, we are into life insurance sector, this is what is our market share in the business premium. All these data points which you need will be given over here, and it is too much extensive. You will see like they have given breakup of different premiums. They have also talked about their competitive strength. Now this is where I would just like to draw your attention also, that whenever you are analyzing any company, it is very important to understand what are the competitive advantages of the company. I called it as a moat. Okay, that what are some strengths which a company is having, what is something unique about the company which other companies are not having. And that is what you should be seeing over here also, that what is that LIC is so special about. And you will see all the points which the company is making, that they are a trusted brand, it is a customer centric business model, they have a cross cyclical product mix, because some products they have which hedges the other risk and all that. You can go through it later, and different other points they have mentioned. Again, as I was mentioning, that they have highest number of individual agents, like 1.34 million. So this is their strength. And then you can again see whether this strength is increasing or decreasing. That is the key to analyze any company. Okay, if it is on an improving trend, then great. If it is not, then you need to be cautious about it. Okay, so same way you can say they are also harnessing some technology. They have built a sales app, and they are also doing E2E. They are doing Atmanirbhar agents and all those things. So you can read about this, and this is a very, very important section. Okay. Next, very important thing which you need to focus once you do the company. So about the company, you need to also see financial information. Okay, so this is also very, very important. What is the historical revenue, profit growth, and all those things. And if you want to see where the financial information is there, this is where you will see the financial information, right? So in the last section, you will have all the information, how the financials are and all that. And initially you will have the summary of all the financials. So summary is also good enough. If you don't want to go deep dive, you can just go through the broad summary and you will get an idea what they are doing. Okay. So that is on the company side of it. Then very, very important point is आपका पैसा कहाँ जा रहा है, where your money is getting used, right? So when you are subscribing to IPO, you are giving money to the company, and you need to understand where your money is going. So if your money is going in a productive use, then great, the company might grow. But if it is just selling out old promoters or some investors, then most likely the growth will not be that good as expected. Okay, so that is where you should see the use of proceeds for this IPO, कि कहाँ पैसा use होने वाला है. Okay, so the highest best thing a company can do is capex activity. If they are putting into reinvesting at a higher ROC, that is a great thing to do. Otherwise, they should be repaying some debt, or they should be using as a working capital. These are like key things which you should look for, and how to look for I'll also tell you. So if you see, there is a separate section where it is called objects of the offer, and in this section, if you see, it will say that what they are going to do with the money which they are getting. So if you see the proposed listing, the entire proceeds of offer after deducting all the expenses will be going to the selling shareholder, that is Government of India, who is offloading the shares. It is not going to get used for the future growth of the company. Okay, so are you clear? Like, this is also not a great thing if you think about it. Okay, and what are different expenses? You can also see that, where they will be spending money. So filing SEBI fees, NSE charges, payment to the depositories and stock exchange and all other things. But they have not mentioned whether they will be doing any growth or that money is going to be used elsewhere in terms of their future growth engine. So entire money will be going to the Government of India, who is selling the shares. So this also, in my view, is not a great thing to do, because you are not too futuristic about the company. That is again my view, and hope you are getting this. How many of you are getting this? Just type yes in the comment box if you are getting this so far, because it's a slightly complicated topic. I am trying to simplify it to the best possible way, but this is what is very, very important section. And if you think about it, did not take like more than 5 minutes to do that, right? So whatever I'm telling, you can follow the same sequence, the same steps, and within 1 hour you can actually go through the entire IPO prospect, at least the key points which are necessary for you to take decision about the IPO. Okay, so that is very, very important. Now, fifth thing, which is super, super important, is management. Who is running the company, whether the management is good or not. Okay, so this section is very, very critical, because sometimes, promoters are not that great. They are having litigation, they have criminal records, and this is what the entire section of our management tells about. So it tells who are the board of directors, who are the promoters, what is their address, whether they were having any litigations. Everything they have to disclose. They cannot hide anything. And same way, they need to also disclose about the company, whether they were hiding any sales tax and there is any litigation on income tax or on sales tax or any other criminal litigation which is there, right? So read this section again, see whether the promoter is quality promoter, the board of directors are well educated, they have good experience about the running this kind of business or not. So everything you should be just getting in this one particular section. Okay, so once you read this management section, the next thing which you need to do is come to offer type. Okay, whether it is offer for sale, like in this case, or it is like different other things which they are doing. Okay, so there are two different kind of offers. So just go there and you can understand like what is the basis of offer and whether it is offer for sale or not. Sometimes it is like a secondary kind of offer for sale also which they are doing. So right now it is more of a promote existing shareholder that is getting out, right? Sometimes it is just new shares which they issue. So this is what is also very important. And apart from that, let me just, sorry for that, just the intro kicked in. So let me also go to the next section, which is about management discussion and analysis. So whatever management thinks about the company, what is the strategy, whatever discussion and analysis they have done, they also need to put it into a separate section. Okay, so I'll show you where you need to find this. So there is a separate section called management discussion and analysis of financial condition and the operation of the company. This is where they will tell, whether our financials are improving, our debt is increasing, what is the strategy of the company to mitigate this. All these information is given. Although it might look slightly cumbersome, but if you go through the key points, it will be super useful to know about the company. Okay, and next thing which you need to focus on is where to find this document. You will say, yaar, ye to sab bata diya, but ye document kahan se nikalna hai, right? So I'll tell you about that also, like how you can find this document in an easy way. So the simplest way to go is just go to a SEBI website, that is sebi.gov.in. Go to filings, go to public issues, and then there is a draft offer documents filed with SEBI and red herring documents filed with ROC. Okay, so all these documents which you see are all DRHP. So any company, you can find the DRHP here and you can go through it. And the quick hack is, again, if you want to analyze any particular industry, like if you want to see what is online tourism industry doing, like ticket booking agents, so you can go to Yatra Online's DRHP. If you want to see what is the fintech companies doing, you can go to AB Cash Limited and you can understand what they are doing. If you want to understand, what are the supply solution chain company in the India and what the sector looks like, just go to TVS Supply Chain Solutions. Okay, so there are what the jewelry segment is doing. Just go to Joya Lucas India Limited DRHP and the entire sector information will be covered there. And if you find 2 to 3 such, DRHPs, it will be mind blowing. Yeah? Like you will get so much of important information from that it will make your analysis super clear. Right, so hope this entire thing was useful. Let me just quickly recap what all things you should be seeing, and then we'll also go to the LIC IPO, what I think about it and what are the key points which you need to look for when you are analyzing LIC IPO. Okay, so let's go to the DRHP document and quickly see what all things are very, very important. So if you go to the table of contents, first thing you should look is summary of the offer document. Then look at summary of financial information, see what is the object of offer, why they are doing this IPO, what is the basis of offer, and this is also very critical. What is the valuation and all those things they are factoring into. So here, if you see, they are saying basis of prices because we are 5th largest and we are trusted brand and all those things. And then they have done valuation also, which is based on price to earnings multiple, return on net worth, and they have compared with different companies. But in my view, each insurance company, like I was an insurance company merger and acquisition investment banker in my earlier role when I was working. Now I am a full-time investor, but that is where the valuation should be done on the basis of embedded value. It is called price to embedded value multiple, which they need to do, and they have disclosed all these things. But if you see in the valuation section, they have just valued based on price to earning and price to book and all those things, which in my view is not very efficient way to do it. Even if they do it with these parameters, they need to value it with price to earnings, price to embedded value multiple also, right? So that is something which is missing in my view for an insurance company, and they have just analyzed by price to earning multiple. That is not the right efficient way to analyze any particular life insurance company. Okay, so let's come to the LIC IPO view. My thoughts on LIC IPO is first, valuation is very tricky because they have not even given price to embedded value multiple, and price to earnings and price to book value is not a very efficient way to do. It is a very, very difficult sector to understand. Okay, so it took me so many years to understand the entire life insurance sector. It's very tough to understand this sector. So it's not for common investor. It's very difficult for them to understand. So that is also one of the major challenges. And as I showed you in the analysis also during the demo, the value migration is happening towards the private players, like they are getting the market share, and LIC is losing market share in the group insurance as well as individual insurance also. Next point is proceeds of the IPO is not going for the growth. It is just going for the existing shareholders. And the fintech platforms which are coming, they are making the agents less relevant. So whatever their strength was, that is getting eroded. So in my view, it could be like based on the price, you can just play the listing gains game and all those things. But otherwise, all these points which I mentioned, my thoughts says that you can find a better place than putting your hard-earned money into LIC, right? So that is the overall analysis and the case study which we took in terms of how you can understand and read DRHP. So hope you found this entire video useful and this entire analysis what we did useful. Let me know which DRHP you will see next in your investing journey. Write in the comment box, and if you want to see any other powerful videos on this YouTube channel, if you want you to like me, share some important topic, let me know as well. Okay, thank you so much for joining me live. Have a great evening. Jai Hind and take care. Bye bye.